The man secretly poured out the beer in his hand, pretended to be drunk and lent his car to an old classmate. He then placed a tracker inside the car's engine hood, nonchalantly went to play billiards. He kept his eyes glued to his phone. As soon as the car moved, the alarm would go off. At that point, he could immediately call the police to report a stolen car. He didn't intend to frame his old classmate, but because in his past life, the car was lent out. And the next day, it was smashed to pieces by the villagers. The villagers said that the car had run over his wife and child, and the driver had fled. The husband of the deceased angrily demanded to know whose car it was. He wanted the perpetrator to pay with their life. Although the man had drunk a lot the previous night, he clearly remembered it was his old classmate who borrowed the car. Before he could speak up, the old classmate quickly said that he was the only one in the village with a BMW, accusing him of fleeing after causing the accident. At that moment, his fiancée and friends surprisingly sided with the old classmate. They even presented surveillance footage pointing to him as the culprit. The man couldn't explain himself, and was ultimately killed by the victim's family. When he opened his eyes again, he found himself reborn to the night when his old classmate asked to borrow the car. Since he couldn't confirm who wanted to frame him, he had to pretend nothing had happened. When his old classmate asked to borrow the car, he decisively agreed, then secretly placed the tracker in the car's engine hood, thinking that as long as the old classmate drove off with his car, his phone app would alert him, and he could call the police to capture the real culprit. Soon, he received a call from the insurance company, and learned that his fiancée had purchased an accidental injury insurance for him, which had already taken effect. At this moment, he realized that his fiancée might also be involved. However, after a long wait, they still hadn't taken the car. To create an alibi, the man invited his friend to play billiards. Suddenly, his fiancée called to ask where he was. He lied, saying he was at home sleeping, and his fiancée hung up the phone, relieved. The man guessed they must be about to act. Just as he was about to call the police, the phone app alarm still didn't go off. He waited until nearly midnight, but the car didn't move. He concluded that they had abandoned the plan. But in his previous life, his face had appeared in the surveillance footage, which was why he was falsely accused of fleeing after an accident. So he deliberately injured his face. The next day, when the man was having dinner with everyone, suddenly, the villagers came again to smash his car. Said the car killed his wife and son. The man thought to himself, his car wasn't even running last night. How could a car accident have happened? In the next moment, the old classmate once again accused him of fleeing after causing the accident. He explained that he had lent the car to the old classmate, but the old classmate said he hadn't driven the car the previous night. Instead, he had left the car keys on the man's bedside. To prove him innocence, the man took out the dashcam, and saw in the video that a car accident had really occurred. He was instantly in disbelief. Then, his fiancée took out the surveillance she had installed in the car, saying that the truth would be clear once they reviewed the footage. The man thought that since he hadn't driven the car, it wouldn't show up, but his face still appeared in the surveillance video.